What? The Arrma Gorgon broke. So in this video, not only am I going to fix it, I'm going to upgrade it to a brushless motor system and a standalone receiver. Hey everyone, welcome to Adventure RC. My name's Greg and let's get started. Before I start putting new parts into the truck, let's check out underneath the body on what's going on why I'm putting all the new parts in the Arrma Gorgon. The last time I ran the truck, I put a 2S Lipo in it and it worked. It seemed like it was missing some speed and some of that bursting punch off the line that I get with the 2S Lipo. And I ran it for a little bit. The truck slowed down even more until it basically stopped. Each time I gave a throttle after that, it would just kind of lunge a little bit, but it wasn't gonna run. The steering worked perfectly fine on it, and I chalked it up to just not putting a charged battery in the truck. So I grabbed another one of these and it was the same thing. I thought, well, the odds of me having two dead batteries is pretty minimal. So I took the body off the truck, switched the jumper on the speed controller so that I could go back to the nickel metal hydrate battery that came with the truck. This I knew was charged up and exactly the same thing. The other thing that I noticed is the happy little noises on the speed controller and radio receiver combo. When that powered up, it didn't make all the happy noises that it usually did. It was a lot softer, and each time I cycled power on it, it got softer and softer until now when I plug the battery in, it basically makes no noise that you can really hear. The light blinks a couple times, but that's it. A quick search on the internet for this combo ESC and radio. It's easy to get, it's $50, but you know, I think this problem might come back again, and I really didn't want to spend $50 on a part on a truck that cost $170 altogether with a battery pack and the radio transmitter. So I decided to go and buy a standalone ESC and brushless motor system and a new radio receiver to go with one of my preferred radios that I have. This thing is a huge upgrade over the one that comes with the Arrma Gorgon. To make it easier to attach all these kibbles and bits to the truck, I went and found some 3D print files on thingiverse.com, and I got a nice ESC tray and a radio box. So we'll take a quick look at getting this printed out. Tucked neatly away in the recording studio is my Qidi Tech iMax 3. This thing is an absolute beast of a printer. It saved me countless times when I needed to print out parts I could no longer find for some vintage RC vehicles, and on rainy days, it's just fun to print some really cool odd shapes. In the background, I've got my filament dryer, which is a must for getting quality prints on any 3D printer. I love having a 3D printer in the shop. It's definitely a lifesaver, especially if I have some vintage RC vehicles where some of the parts are virtually impossible to find. I can go on the internet and a quick search usually reveals a free print file that I can just make the parts at home. Now, speaking of parts, let's check out the brushless motor system and the radio receiver. The ESC is basic and straightforward. It's rated for 60 amps at 2 to 3S Lipo batteries. This is going to be a sensorless system, and it is a budget model. It's so budget it doesn't even have the brand name anywhere on it, but it is from Surpass Hobby RC. The power plant's going to be this 3660 waterproof motor rated at 3300 kV. All the signals are going to pass through this Radiolink receiver. This is the model R6FG, fully compatible with my radio system. And best of all, this has a built-in gyro. I think I've got everything I need, and if you think that I should have chosen some other parts for this repair/upgrade, let me know in the comments down below. And from here, all I need to do is get some wrenches out, get the old parts on, and start taping and screwing down the new parts. I'll start by joining the radio tray and the ESC tray together. They're held in with 2 screws. And to make sure that the screws don't crack the 3D printed parts, I'll be heating them up with a micro torch. Next, it's out with the old. These 2-in-1 ESC and radio receivers, on paper they look like it's a great idea, save some money, save some space, but And things like this where the ESC portion broke, the radio receiver is perfectly good, but the whole thing I've got to throw away. The cool thing about this radio tray was not only could I download it for free, but the mounting holes on the bottom match up perfectly to the truck. The tray will need some longer screws. I also switched over to a cap head screw. The wrench that fits in these is a little bit larger than the button heads, so these have far less of a chance of stripping out. Brushless motor's out, and I'm actually going to take this 13-tooth pinion gear off and put it on the new brushless motor. I have no idea if that's the correct gear ratio that I should be using with a 3300 kV motor with the Arrma Gorgon. If you think I should be using something different, let me know down below. Just a little wiggle and I think the motor's all set. Time to move on to the rest of the electronics. The speed controller and the radio receiver will be held in place with some double-sided tape. The radio receiver, I'm going to use the old standby of some high-quality 3M VHB tape. This stuff is awesome. And for the speed controller, I'm going to try something new, some space tape. This is kind of like a gel-type double-sided tape. Never used it, so this is a good time to try it out. Look at this. The space tape is clear and it's really thick. This looks to be like about 2 millimeters thick. Oh, I can tell this stuff is already pretty sticky. Anything it touches it, of course, wants to stick to. I guess that's the purpose of tape, right? And hopefully that won't go anywhere. And this guy, this whole time I've been trying to figure out where to put this switch. There's a little clip that fits onto the side of the speed controller. This case or this tray has a little spot to mount a switch, but the wires aren't long enough, so I'm trying to figure out where to get this thing placed that it makes sense. And I don't know, maybe I'll just put it on the cover, which is right here, so that way if I ever take the cover off, it's not going to go very far. I'm going to think ahead a little bit here for once, and before I put some tape on the receiver and get it inside of this deep dish radio box, I'm going to plug in the components and just make sure everything works good and make sure that it's bound to the radio. Oh, check that out. And it even turns the right way as well. I think this is looking pretty good so far. That all checks out good. We'll get this turned off, the radio off, and now I can go back and tape the receiver inside of the box, get a little piece of plastic tubing for the whip antenna to come out of, and I think I'll be ready to button this up and take it out for its first drive. Now, one thing that I did order when I ordered the rest of this stuff is a cooling fan to blow down onto that brushless motor that's in there, because these things do get pretty warm. And the one that I ordered, I mismeasured this and I ordered one way too small, so I'm going to have to get a new one on order, which means today I'm only going to be doing a couple passes, but I'm going to finish this video out with the proper size cooling fan blowing down on the motor so I can get a proper run in that's more than just a couple minutes long. Everything's connected and I even have a battery installed. This didn't take very much time at all. I thought it was going to take much longer, and the layout of all these aftermarket parts still look pretty clean on the truck. This looks great, and the only thing I have left to do is to simply put the body back on the truck and go in the front yard for a quick lap or two. I would run it longer, but like I mentioned earlier, I don't have a cooling fan for the brushless motor, and it really does need one. These brushless motors heat up super quick, and I don't want to wreck any of the parts I just installed. But don't worry, when that cooling fan comes in, we'll be out in the backwoods for a proper rip, which will still be within this video. For now though, let's check out what these upgrades look like. A A couple of days later and the 4-pack of cooling fans arrived. I've got one already installed on the truck, and just for fun, I 3D printed this velocity stack. It's supposed to increase the airflow. I don't think it really does anything because these fans, they actually suck. They really don't move that much air. I should have spent more money on one really good one instead of this 4-pack. The velocity stack though, it is keeping all the pine needles out of the fan, so I think we're all set. I'll just throw the body on and I'll meet back up with you out in the backwoods for a proper rip to check out this new brushless system. It's another beautiful day in the woods. The sun isn't out, but the temperature is nice. And as we can see, the nice sandy track is all covered with leaves and more continue to fall all around me. So I don't think we're going to have all the grip today, but still we're going to have a blast with the Arrma Gorgon. This new setup seems like it's got a lot more punch over the stock electronics. During my walk back from the woods, I realized that some of you might have a question on if you have to print 3D parts in order to install the new electronics, and the answer is no. I simply chose to do it because I have a 3D printer and I like using it. There's certainly parts from Arrma and aftermarket parts that you could use to put new electronics on your truck. As usual, the backwoods was a blast to run the truck around. Would have been cool if I caught it a little bit earlier before all the leaves got on that nice sandy track where I'd have more traction. I noticed a couple times with this only being a 2-wheel drive truck, when it got into the rough a little bit, it really got into trouble. But after I started clearing a little bit of a path, those leaves got out of the way and the truck really hooked up. And switching this over to brushless definitely gives it a little bit more speed with the gearing that I have, which is still the stock gearing, and I definitely have a lot more punch with the throttle. Today's video was a lot of fun, even though it was something I actually didn't want to do. I mean, I want to record a video, but I don't want to change out the electronics on here. The whole idea behind me getting this truck was to get something, plug a battery pack in it, go out in the backwoods, and turn in some nice hot laps. I'm actually pretty disappointed that only after about 4 battery packs through the truck, that's all that's been through it, and the stock ESC went out. Now, certainly I could spend $50 and buy a new one, but I think this is a weak link with the truck. But you know, when I got this, it was about $180 or $170, and then for a little bit, it blipped up above $200, and last time I checked just a couple of days ago, it's back at about the $170 mark, so I think it's still a great value. It's just a shame that mine, the speed controller, went out on it, and be interested to hear from you guys what you think of the Spectrum radio systems found on the Arrma Series RC trucks. It was a good time sharing some of my experiences and upgrades with the truck with all of you. Don't forget to show this video some love by giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. Not only is it a great way to help this channel grow, it's an awesome way to connect video content like this with other great RC enthusiasts just like yourselves. And until we meet again in the next video, I'm Greg from Adventure RC1.